You're listening to Business Success in a Virtual World podcast. If you are a leader navigating these new immersive technologies, this is your definitive resource to understand the innovative power of XR, VR, and AR. I'm Tim Beharon, Chairman of Creative Strategies, and I'm joined by Barton Goldenberg, President of ISM Guide. In each episode, we navigate through new products, effective strategies, and highlight actual business case studies implementing extended reality into business processes. Our resource website now boasts over 300 case studies, 300 articles, and 100 videos presenting successful examples of businesses using these technologies in field service, training, digital twins, customer service, in medical and manufacturing, and so much more. Check out the website at ismguide.com. Now, on to the next episode. One of the areas that we have not spent a lot of time in our podcast covering is field service. And yet field service has actually more or less led the entire VR, XR strategy, especially with things like glasses where you can see the pass-through, where an individual can be showing their superiors what they're looking at and then get advice on how to fix something or change something, etc. So this week we're taking a look at what I consider one of the better field service cases where they are using various types of XR technology. And so Barton, tell us what you found out about Mercedes-Benz.
Well, thank you, Tim. The Mercedes-Benz Group is a German multinational automotive corporation that's headquartered in Stuttgart, Baden-Württemberg, Germany. It was founded in 1926 and is one of the world's leading car manufacturers. In 2023, Mercedes-Benz was the largest manufacturer of luxury vehicles in the world, having sold 2.5 million passenger cars and generating 150 billion euros, the equivalent of $162 billion in revenues. It currently has about 168,000 employees globally. And in addition to manufacturing the car side of the business, the luxury vehicles, Mercedes-Benz AG also manufactures light commercial vehicles. For those on the call that are car buffs, it's worth noting that Mercedes-Benz created the very first internal combustion engine in a self-propelled automobile around 1900. And then to bring that to the other extreme, in January 2024, when Tim and I were presenting and participating at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Mercedes-Benz showed their flying vehicle prototype, which was a real beauty, although it wasn't flying, maybe next year. No surprises, anyhow, that the company's slogan is the best or nothing. But before I introduce Mercedes-Benz field service case study, Tim, I wanted first to offer a short primer on how both augmented reality and virtual reality are being applied to today's $5 billion field service industry, which you've alluded to as a very important industry, including the many benefits that AR/VR brings to field service. So most people would agree that AR and VR are literally transforming field service industry. And field service, for those that are not fully comfortable, means quite literally the services a company's mobile service force provides when they are either en route to or on site at a client's project location. While VR is a key technology used to train field service personnel, AR is really the technology that is of particular value to the top 3 field service applications. And here they are. One is, Tim's alluded to this, to perform equipment maintenance and repairs. So here the field technician uses augmented reality as an interactive visual aid by superimposing both detailed diagrams and instructions over the equipment in the field. The second one that's very well known is what's called remote assist. And what remote assist does is it allows customers and expert technicians, maybe subject matter experts, to leverage AR technology to connect virtually. And as Tim alluded to solve a problem, to talk with the boss, to get insight, to allow them to have the same view and collaborate anywhere in the world. The other third big field service application is to perform field inspections and audits. And here AR glasses provides things like a checklist where they can go down one at a time and other information to field personnel in real time so they can conduct their inspections and audits effectively. Now, a great diversity of industries currently rely on field service to manage their resources. And this includes, for example, think of all the oil and gas companies working offshore and the need to keep everything up and running on the offshore platforms and the need for personnel to work together on and offshore. The telecommunications and the cable industry with hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of people all the time running around doing various things within houses or buildings, etc. The in-home healthcare industry. You don't necessarily think of it that way, but that's a service, a field service industry. The utility companies who are constantly out correcting things and so forth, and even the public sector transportation like trains and buses, where you have to keep field maintenance personnel out in the field at all times, keeping things working. Now, regarding the benefits of AR and VR technology in field service, my colleague and distinguished co-podcaster, Tim, who has extensive knowledge of field service management and the technology used for it, speaks about these AR, VR benefits in field service. So one is that the field service applications can replace bulky operator manuals and handheld devices with a better user experience and, very important, hands-free operation ability. This is because AR and VR devices make necessary information easily accessible in an immersive format that includes 3D illustrations, video-driven instructions, real-time feedback, all done when you're connected to an in-house technician. Second, AR and VR wearable devices boost the technician's efficiency by having hands-free while working in the field. And when you're doing the type of work that field service technicians do, you really want to keep your hands free. Number 3, field service personnel receive a detailed digital visualization of the asset and the steps required to assess and repair the problem, thereby reducing staff time to train the new staff and to fix the actual problem. Number 4, by leveraging AR and VR in field service, what you do is you reduce the learning gap between the newer and senior technicians or engineers, which enables real-time knowledge transfer between them. And that's a big issue as people are retiring, baby boomers are retiring. How do you transfer the knowledge of an elderly field service technician to a younger one when that may not necessarily be top of mind for the senior, the retiring individual? Okay, so AR, VR, next one is that it can provide more remote diagnosis and repair while minimizing travel costs and dependence on skilled technicians to be on site, which is a tremendously important benefit. VR in this case is an excellent way to onboard and train new field service technicians. Training employees is, as we all know, essential for any business that values a competent workforce. To efficiently follow procedures and processes. And in the field service industry, processes and procedures are absolutely critical to drive effectiveness. The implementation of AR, VR technology for on-the-job training can help in the fast development of skills, better retention of training, which makes the workforce more successful at providing concise customer service solutions. AR, VR can also improve the process of troubleshooting. So it helps diagnose issues in less time. And we've seen lots of videos of how that's being done. Again, I would encourage you to go to our XR Metaverse Resource Center, where you'll see literally dozens of virtual reality and augmented reality field service videos, articles, and case studies. And when a field engineer requires help, the engineer using the AR component can easily open a remote assist session with a senior technician, whereby they both see the same scenario as Tim alluded to, and you get the problem hopefully solved quickly. AR and VR are also extraordinary tools that envelope individuals in an alternative digital twin environment, and that can be very important when you're working in the metaverse. The payback from AR, VR, I did a little bit of homework Tim, and I really think it can be quite significant. There was a big report done by Gartner where companies are utilizing AR in field service management. They can expect a 20% improvement in first-time fix rates and a 10% reduction in overall service costs. Now, those are very significant, particularly if you have a large field service force. Anyhow, the role of AR, VR in field service, I see it as transformative. It offers a comprehensive benefit that ranges from the operational efficiencies, the cost savings, enhanced customer experiences, better workforce empowerment. These technologies are not merely augmenting the current capabilities of field service personnel, but they're actually reshaping the industry's future, making immersive, efficient, and effective service delivery a new standard. Okay, that's my primer. And what I'd like to now do is turn over this to Tim for comments.
Yeah, before we go to the bulk of the Mercedes use of this, I did want to point out that this idea of remote assist has been going on for a long time. 10 years ago, I was asked to work with a company in Michigan who actually had one of the first remote assist glasses. And we went there to their headquarters in Michigan to look through the early designs and go through one of the actual field service projects that they were doing with a big manufacturer who were using it in their supply chain. And early on, I began to see that this was going to be revolutionary. And Barton and I actually ran a fairly big CRM show during the aughts. And early on in CRM, it was field service actually that got the biggest focus in our early days of the show, along with, of course, sales and the other levels of service. But I do want to reiterate that when we're talking about the concept of virtual worlds, and especially the role of things like VR or at least XR and AR, field service comes out as one of the more important areas that needs to be supplemented in this context. And so what Barton has shared so far is really all of those points lead to companies like Mercedes really integrating this already into what they're doing because there's so many benefits. So Barton, again, tell us a little bit about how Mercedes is actually using AR field service technology.
Happy to do so, Tim. So actually, they're the kind of leaders in the use of AR field service technology. Let's turn our attention to how they've accomplished this. In 2020, which is 4 years ago, Mercedes-Benz embarked upon a journey to redefine automotive field service by leveraging augmented reality to enhance its service technicians' efficiency, hasten problem resolution, and diminish the environmental and cost implications of service-related travel. This initiative responded to the increasing complexity of modern vehicles, which, as we all know now, incorporate vast arrays of digital and computerized and silicon chip technologies that are not simple and often require remote assistance to help with solving complex issues. Now, to help solve this goal, Mercedes-Benz chose to collaborate with Microsoft's HoloLens 2 headset and the software that works with it, the Dynamics 365 Remote Assist technologies. Here's how it works. So the service technicians put the HoloLens 2 headset on to visualize a complex 3D model and receive immediate guidance from remote experts. So in other words, they'll be doing their daily repairs. They'll hit a challenge. They can't figure it out, and so they'll just connect back very quickly, very effectively to these subject matter experts or remote experts. And the setup is it doesn't only expedite the diagnosis and repair process, but it also enables on-the-spot training and support, thereby enhancing service quality and customer satisfaction. The technology allows for immersive mixed reality experiences where the technician can interact with digital overlays of the vehicle components while accessing remote assistance. This has dramatically reduced time per Mercedes-Benz that it takes to resolve issues, from days to mere minutes, thereby significantly improving both the operational efficiency and customer service turnaround times. And we've all in our prior, lives brought our car to a repair shop and they say, oh, well, we don't have the part, or this requires some assistance. We need 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Those days could well be over because they can quickly get immediately diagnosis and understand, and hopefully, the part will be readily available. With HoloLens and Dynamic 365 Remote Assist, a problem that might have taken days of phone calls and emails to sort out now can literally be solved in a 10-minute conversation. And Mercedes-Benz service technicians save a lot of time by not having to go back and forth with the subject matter because they can upload information, they can ask questions, they can wait for a response. So it's like a team. You got both of you putting on the HoloLens and you're working together in collaboration like a team. It's a wonderful way to do this. And again, I would encourage you, I'll say this at the end of the podcast, but you can see the Mercedes-Benz video, the actual AR video, in one of the case studies in the XR Metaverse Resource Center, but I'll give you the link in just a moment. So instead, Mercedes-Benz dealerships can get cars back to their owners, diagnosed, fixed, washed, ready to roll in a fraction of the time it takes, which has a significant impact on the dealership's ability to provide excellent customer service. So there's a real win-win-win going on here, Tim. Mercedes-Benz collaboration with Microsoft also helped Mercedes-Benz to reduce its carbon footprint by reducing the travel requirements to support dealership service centers to the tune of 35% to 40% reduction. And I didn't mention this, but they've rolled this out. I think it's some 358 dealerships across the United States. So this is not any longer a trial. It's the way they do business. Mercedes-Benz use of AR for field service represents, in my opinion anyhow, a significant leap forward in automotive service technology. This initiative not only enhances service efficiency, reduces environmental impact, but it also sets a new standard for what we can expect for customer service in the automotive industry. And as I alluded to, for those wishing to see the Mercedes-Benz AR service technology in action, I encourage you to visit our award-winning XR Metaverse Resource Center. You can get that right from the ISM website, ismguide.com, and read the Mercedes-Benz article that's inside the Metaverse Resource Center. Just search in the search bar for Mercedes. It'll come up, and the video is actually embedded in the article. But it's wonderful to watch this video because it's becomes crystal clear exactly how this all works. Okay, let's look ahead for a minute. What are Mercedes-Benz plans to expand to its use of VR and AR technology? So their venture with AR and Microsoft to deliver enhanced service technology is just the beginning of Mercedes-Benz broader strategy to incorporate digital innovation across all of its services and its sales operations. That goes all the way down through the dealership and ultimately to the end user. Beyond immediate service benefit, Mercedes-Benz envisages leveraging AR/VR technology for diagnostic paths, virtual training, enhancing customer interaction on the sales floor, and more. This approach aligns with Mercedes-Benz goals for quality, innovation, and sustainability, and it includes its commitment to achieve carbon neutrality. As Mercedes-Benz continues to explore and expand its use of AR, it underscores their position as a leader in technology innovation and further reinforces its simple yet powerful slogan, the best or nothing. Hopefully at CES 2025, Tim, next January, we'll all witness that gorgeous Mercedes-Benz prototype flying in the air. Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, Mercedes, of course, has always been a fascinating company. I've had the privilege of owning a couple of them over the years, and their stuff is just top notch. But I remember a couple of times going into the service part of the company and having them have to look at something. And granted, this was many years ago, and it was a tedious experience where they had to put, even then they were not using, because this was a long time ago, they were still not using some of the automated equipment and computer-aided equipment to do the diagnostics. But when you actually think about the role that AR and especially smart glasses can play, especially with field assist or remote assist, you are seeing a complete change of what field service is and will be like. It'll be interesting to me since they're using HoloLens that technically has been discontinued, but Microsoft is still supporting. I have to believe that Mercedes is now looking at other headsets, including Apple's Vision Pro, to do even more interesting things, especially in sales in the future. And to me, when you get a company that this forward thinking starts playing with something like the Vision Pro, I can't even imagine what Mercedes may come up with by using something as powerful as Apple's Vision Pro, not only for whatever they do in field service, but especially in training and selling of the vehicles. Last year, I lease cars, and I've done so for 3 decades. And when I was leasing my newest car, I was dealing with one of the big vendors who really is still, I think, behind the times when it comes to how they sell. And I talked to the customer, the sales guy at the time, and I said, "Have you guys doing any of this stuff in VR and XR?" And he goes, "What's that?" And I was like, "Come on." And this was one of the big Japanese car companies. So I do think, especially in the area that we're talking about today, field service, this is a revolution in the making. And Mercedes has taken a very important position. And I think that they're going to take that leadership role for not only the auto industry, but I think any industry that's focusing on field service.
Well, I got a question and an observation. Maybe the observation is I always focus on Gen Z and how they're behaving because they're going to drive this whole immersive 3D experience.
Yeah.
I know my son just got a fairly nice Volvo XC40. And it's a rocket ship. I mean, there's more dials and technology inside that. He just loves it. And he told me that of great importance to him when he bought the Volvo was the technology and the technology support that Volvo was offering. And I know that he's just a moment away from saying, I'd like to use my VR glasses or my AR glasses to talk about this with you. And this is the Gen Z. My son's 26. This is the Gen Z that's going to drive this even further. It's their expectation not only to have the technology in the car, but to use the technology to repair and service the car. That's my observation. But my question to you is, you made the point that remote assist, which is when we have two people having the glasses on, and it could be the HoloLens or else, and you're both focusing on the same issue when one is feeding information to the person in the remote area so they can get the job fixed quickly. That's been around for a while. Would you comment on how much the technology has changed since it's been around and how much it could improve with, for example, Apple Vision Pro or even other lenses? Is there room for improvement, or have we hit, it's just good the way it is?
No, there's tremendous room for improvement. The glasses I mentioned that I worked on with a company in 2000, actually 10 years ago, were actually just cameras on the glasses that what the guy was seeing was being sent back to his boss. And in the example we were working with at the time, he was repairing a heater, and we were in front of the heater, and he was, had all kind of dials and wires, etc. And he was broadcasting to his boss what he was seeing, and he ran across a problem of which his boss could say, you attach this to this and you turn this knob and and he was just walking him through. And it was funny, and as we were talking about it, it struck me that an older generation who has all this knowledge today, who may have even retired, could actually go back to a company and and do the actual remote assist, because they had done this for decades. And you got a new guy coming up who's going through the early stages. And boy, think about that, the role of these glasses as a tutor going forward. My point is that I think what you're going to see the role of AR, and these type of glasses, there's an immense amount of improvement. In fact, when I was with Apple in the early stage, going through some of the examples of how the Vision Pro could be used for remote assist. I'm telling you that you're not only looking at the schematic, or the pass through and sharing that with a collaborative, but you had the schematics there. You could have had 5 different diagrams of showing how it would work. Again, immense amount of activity. And I do think that when field service companies are using, especially the APIs for something like the Quest, which does have the Quest 3 now does have a pass-through model where you can actually see, but especially the Apple Vision Pro, where you literally hit a button and you can see everything in front of you, and then use that to collaborate. I'll tell you, that's going to be an amazing thing. And that's why I said, I think that what's happened over the last 10 years has proven that AR and these kind of glasses are a vital tool. But I don't think we've even scratched the surface of how things like a Vision Pro could enhance that process. And that's why I think, field service is going to be one of the more interesting examples of how XR and VR and smart glasses are going to drive the future of field service.
Well, I am always love to listen to your vision. I can only tell you that I visited an oil rig off the eastern shore of Scotland some years ago, and these are huge platforms that sit in the sea, but it's a long trip to get out there, and they use this. All of this is the whole concept of field service and the glasses. And now you mentioned the Apple Vision Pro, literally blowing up the particular a configuration or a machine on the oil rig so they can fix it quickly and easily. We're talking huge sums of money when an oil rig is down. And so this whole concept of remote and field service is critically important in that industry and many others. And I enthusiastically await how Apple Vision Pro is going to be applying that. But equally important, I'm very keen to see this Mercedes-Benz car fly in 2025.
Yeah, I saw that the Mercedes-Benz flying car too. And there's no question that Mercedes is thinking through very futuristic ways of transportation. And I imagine that a lot of that was actually designed using VR headsets, because, right now you're trying to you create the design and then simulate it way before you even build it these days.
Yeah.
There's no question that I think from your example and the way Mercedes is actually embracing virtual technology in their business puts them in a leadership role within the auto industry. But I think other industries are going to learn a great deal from what Mercedes is doing. And that's going to drive, I think, what we're doing in enterprises in VR going forward. I do want to point out that Barton and I have been keen to assist companies at each step of the way to ensure their successful entry into the metaverse. And that's why our Metaverse Resource Center is, I think, very important for those of you listening to go there and actually look at the case studies. In our podcast, I think this is the 17th or 18th case study we've given. And twice a month, we're updating new case studies for you to look at. But the Metaverse Resource Center has even more content that you could get answers even faster. And again, if you need help, Barton and I are here, I think, to be an assist to you, because we're starting to see an immense amount of interest in the enterprise, more so than we've ever had, in how this type of technology is going to be used for them not only to change their business operations, but also to stay competitive.
You nailed it, Tim.
Well, thank you folks for joining us, and we look forward to doing this with you again shortly. Thanks for listening to Business Success in a Virtual World. Barton and I have helped global companies successfully develop and implement strategies to utilize these new technologies. For more information or to contact us, please visit ismguide.com and select Metaverse Resource Center. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your preferred platform.